Hello everyone, my name is Elise Palmer, and on behalf of the Meadville Neighborhood Center, we would like to welcome you to our Valentine's Day weekend virtual benefit concert with Alec Chien. The concert is free to view, but donations are accepted and very much appreciated in any amount. There will be a banner at the bottom of your screen to help you navigate to meadvillecalendar.com if you are so moved. This concert is dedicated to our community. A little bit later in the program, you'll be hearing from Alec about what that means to him and to the Neighborhood Center. You will also be hearing from 3 other community members about self-care in a time of toxic stress, living through a global pandemic. For the music portion of this program, you will be hearing 4 Chopin Ballades, as well as the complete piano solo transcription of the Nutcracker Suite by Tchaikovsky. The concert will remain available to view for 1 week after today on meadvillecalendar.com. During that time, the donations window will also remain open. And if you have any questions for Alec, please feel free to leave them in the comments section on this video, and he will answer any of your questions within the next few days. And with that, we welcome Alec to our virtual stage.
Well, hello. Thank you all for joining us this day for a tribute to our community through music. Meadville, Pennsylvania, where I reside, and where this Meadville Neighborhood Center is a special place. It's a small manufacturing community and a college town, but the population is a caring one. I know that in social media, we are accustomed to or aware that it can be a nurturing ground for gossips, misinformation, fake news, maybe even derogatory remarks. While that is probably not unfounded, sometimes I sit back and look at the big picture. And what is painted here for me, Bill, is a quilt of loving and caring individuals, all doing what they can and often way beyond their call of duty. And so what happens then is when we see that, we tend to look to other sources and see what people say in general is our human nature and how we react to other people's behavior. John Perkins, a pastor and a civil rights activist, has said that we don't give someone dignity, we affirm it. Fred Rogers, who many of you know, his mantra always included the advice for each one of us to give other people the moment. For those of you who are from Meadville, about 2.5 years ago, we were able to invite Fred's wife, Joanne Rogers, to come to Meadville to celebrate his life and his message. One reason was, or the reason was, that we were all looking forward to the documentary on his 50th anniversary of the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood show, and it was about to come out. And when I approached her about coming, I told her how the Meadville Neighborhood Center, the vision and the mission of our organization, so resembles his message to the world, giving someone the moment. And she was very touched by that, not because 1 or 10 or even 100 people doing it. It's because the whole community is embracing that attitude. So when she came, it was a delightful evening, and we had a great time to celebrate that positivity. Her recent passing renewed our philosophy that we love and therefore we trust. Now, I know many people are hurting. We actually all are hurting. But what's worse in that is we also tend to then not trust. But we do trust what is true. And the truth is, we all need love, and we all can love. This positive attitude is challenged all the time. What we hang on to is the idea that we need to focus on our philosophy, our concept, our mantra that is based on truth and love. Let me give an example. The red light, green light concept. Red light, we stop, green light, we go. And I can understand your hesitation to wanting to cross the street if one of your loved ones might have been killed in an accident where someone did not stop at his red light. I can see that. But eventually that concept needs to and does prevail, because the next time you get in a car, the next time you drive, the next time you cross the street, you're actually still banking on that concept. We humans fail, but the truth doesn't fail. And so when we hang on to the idea that the truth of it is that we all need love and we all can love. And I see that a great deal played out here in Meadville. I have seen that myself. So today I want to share 3 speakers with you who actually, their work and their life have definitely given others the moment. The first one is Dr. Becky Dawson. She's a professor at Allegheny College. She's an epidemiologist. She's also a co-director of, I forget the program, at the Meadville Medical Center, which helps families and medical situations on an ongoing basis. She will talk to us today about the mitigation of this COVID. Our county commissioner, Eric Henry, had asked her to do a weekly Monday night session on Facebook, answering questions from the community. And that is a real example of giving others the moment. Later on in the program, we'll have John Hartnett, who is also working with the Meadville Medical Center. He will briefly introduce his work to you on recovery. His work deals with how toxic the environment can be from these COVID effects. The third speaker will be Elise Palmer. She's a yoga instructor and a community activist. She will show us the science behind yoga and how to quiet our minds and hearts in specifically today in listening to music. So without further ado, let me introduce to you now Dr. Becky Dawson.
Good afternoon, Meadville, and thank you so much for tuning into this concert and also valuing the work that the Meadville Neighborhood Center is doing today and has been doing for many years throughout our community. My name is Becky Dawson. I'm a professor at Allegheny. I live here in the city of Meadville, and I'm coming to you today to talk about COVID and to connect this pandemic really to the heart of what the Meadville Neighborhood Center is doing. Because as I think about what we've been through over the past 12 months and what the next 12 to 18 months and even beyond is going to look like, I really think that this COVID moment really has taught me a lot about community and really has connected me and had me seen the value of an organization like the Meadville Neighborhood Center. So some quick messages today about COVID-19. Number one, it's still the pandemic. I think that a lot of us thought that this might be over quickly, that maybe 2021 would turn things around, but it doesn't take much for you to realize that the pandemic continues. The lines for vaccines are long. We know that there is still a lot of research and understanding and oh my goodness, so much work to be done in order to see this pandemic come to an end. And so in this moment today that I have with you, I want to offer hope, but I also want to ask for your partnership because I really think that this moment is teaching us that we all have a responsibility to do more and participate more in building a healthy community here in Meadville. So as this pandemic continues on and as the news, kind of goes up and down in cycles, I'm excited that case counts are sort of plateauing, not just here in Meadville, but across the country. We also are seeing hospitalizations decline this week across the country. Unfortunately, deaths are still kind of catching up, but I think that in the next couple of weeks, deaths from COVID will start to plateau as well. But in the same breath, as we kind of get that excited that we might be turning a corner, we know that variants of the SARS-CoV-2 virus are here. Allegheny County has reported that the UK variant has been found in some of their COVID cases. And so it's clear that it's just a matter of time if that variant isn't already here in Meadville. And these new variants appear to be more contagious, not as lethal, so they don't cause as much severe disease, but because they are so contagious, they might and probably will become the more dominant form of SARS-CoV-2 in our community in the months to come. And there might be another surge in cases. And that can be really depressing, especially as now we are through almost an entire year living under COVID or living with COVID. So it's good news, bad news right now. But I think that the message that we need to hear right now is that there are things that we can all do to break cycles of infection, to stop the spread of this disease. And in that moment, in doing those things, really foster a community where health and safety of all of the members of our community are prioritized. So the messages aren't new. You need to continue to wear your mask. You need to continue to wash your hands. You need to continue to maintain your physical distance as much as possible. And really the hardest one for all of us in this moment when the skies are gray and we've been home for nearly a year now is that we need to keep our social circles small. We can't be inviting lots and lots of people into our homes or out to restaurants and sharing air in those spaces because that's where we transmit disease to one another. So it really is about, finding new and creative ways, just like we're doing today, of decreasing disease spread, making our social circles small, and really working collaboratively to decrease spread from person to person. There is so much hope with the vaccine, on the market and here in Meadville. And I think too, with the promise of another vaccine from Johnson & Johnson potentially being available within a couple of weeks here in our community. So there's good news. And I really want to be clear about my messaging related to the vaccine. The vaccines that are available right now and any vaccine that is approved by the FDA for use here in the United States and in Meadville is safe and effective. And we should all be excited, anxious, and willing to get that vaccine if we qualify. And what I mean by qualify is you are older than 16 years of age and you are not allergic to any of those ingredients that are in any of the vaccines. Getting a vaccine is, there are risks associated with it. But I think what we need to remember is the risk of having a sore arm or maybe a little bit of bruising there, maybe running a low-grade fever is so small compared to the risks associated with COVID-19. And it's really hard to predict who will see those severe consequences of COVID-19. We'd like to say, it's just the elderly, it's just the people with underlying conditions, but we know that's not true. So we really all need to step up and be willing to get that vaccine when it is our turn. So the two thoughts that I want to leave you with this afternoon is one, if you're anxious about getting the vaccine and you are ready to do it, please don't jump in line. That's not how we foster a community of safety and of health here in Meadville or anywhere. We do need to wait our turn. The vaccine will be made available to all of us. But second is this idea that here in Meadville, I think this pandemic has done something really amazing. And what it's done, it's connected all of us in a way that we weren't connected before, recognizing that our individual health decisions, our individual health and safety actually is a community issue. And though you don't need to know what my underlying conditions are, what you do need to know is that every time I put my mask on or every time I celebrate something virtually, I'm protecting you. And it's my expectation that you're doing the same thing for me. And I think this understanding that it's not just about me, right? It really is about all of us and all of us working together to create a healthy and safe Meadville. That is what is so magical about this moment. The pandemic has been hard, but there are these glimmers of hope and learning that I hope you really can appreciate today, especially as we are highlighting the work of the Meadville Neighborhood Center. I think this pandemic has the potential to bring us together closer as a community, to recognize the interconnectedness we have in terms of health and safety with one another. And I think that knowing that should inspire each of us to get the vaccine, to not jump in line when it's not our turn to get the vaccine, to wear our masks, to keep our distance, to wash our hands really, really well, and to teach our children and those around us the importance of doing all of those things. So Meadville, it is my hope that we are able to celebrate together soon, but in the meantime, please remember that your actions are promoting or will help to promote a healthy Meadville. And that's what we all need right now. We need to promote health and really inspire one another to get through this pandemic and to come out of it healthier and safer than we were before. Enjoy the rest of the concert.
At this point, I would like all of us to give a moment of silence to remember those we lost due to COVID. We're thinking of families involved, friends. The pain is real. It will be long lasting. But together, if we can just acknowledge that, and so we could silence our heart now and give them the moment.
Ambulatory Service Navigator at Meadville Medical Center. My primary focus is helping persons with substance use disorders and their loved ones navigate the treatment process for this complex disease. Substance use disorders affect individuals and families on so many levels. As such, I am very familiar with the supports and services available in our community. I like to describe my work as helping people however they'll let me. Check out my website, letstalkhelps.com, to find local resources and reach out if there is anything troubling you. Meadville Neighborhood Center's mission is engaging the Meadville community in the success of our students and neighbors. And to meet this aim, MNC is always thinking about how to counter our biggest public health crisis, toxic stress. COVID is certainly a public health crisis, yet it also represents a global source of toxic stress. So what is toxic stress? Toxic stress is defined as prolonged activation of the stress response system in the absence of protective relationships. The effects of toxic stress on the developing brain are well studied. These studies show toxic stress increases the likelihood of worse physical, mental, social, and economic health outcomes over a lifetime. The higher the dose of toxic stress in childhood, the more likely it is that one may face chronic health conditions, from diabetes to substance use disorders, and also social problems like homelessness and joblessness. Why am I telling you all this? Because toxic stress and its implications on health and well-being was the biggest public health crisis in our society before COVID, and it will continue to be something we need to address long after COVID. It increases the likelihood of all the negative things we lament in our society. And also, it is something you are experiencing no matter where you are in the world right now. I just want to let you know, if you feel down, worn out, beat, or exhausted, that's perfectly normal. There are days when you feel like you can't even, or you've had it up to here. It's okay. Lots of us are feeling that way. It is a normal reaction to this current societal context created by COVID. The uncertainty of everything is stressful, and in order to keep ourselves and our neighbors safe, following best practices such as social distancing and masking up, we are missing out on the many protective relationships that kept us healthy. I just want you to know that what you may be feeling is a totally normal response to this strange season. That this too will pass in time. While we are still very much in the middle of a pandemic, one day we'll be able to join together, building community again, and engaging the Meadville community in the success of our students and neighbors. I also want you to know that we can build our resilience to toxic stress as individuals and as a community, and that recovery is possible. Resiliency is the ability to return to normal after a stressful event. The best way to foster resiliency is connection with others. While it may need to be remotely at the moment, we can and will get through this together. Indeed, it's the only way I've found to get through things, with the help and support of my family, friends, and our community. In the meantime, enjoy Alec's beautiful music and message on the importance of trust and positivity. Dr. Becky Dawson will update us on the current state of affairs with COVID in our community. And Elise will share with us a self-care exercise to help us de-stress. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you need help or just someone to talk to, let's talk. Give me a call at 814-333-3916 or go to letstalkhelps.com to find useful resources and learn more about Meadville Neighborhood Center.
We are all feeling the stress. We are living it every single day of our lives with so much going on. What do we do about it? How can we take care of ourselves when so much of what stresses us out is beyond our control? As a yoga instructor, I can tell you that the most important thing to do for yourself that is in your control is your breathing. I'm sure that at some point in your life, when you've been worked up, upset, overwhelmed, someone has told you, just breathe, just breathe. But what does that mean and why? When we inhale, we're taking in oxygen. We're taking in the things that our body needs. When we exhale, we're releasing carbon dioxide, the stuff that we don't need. We're getting rid of it. Taking that a little bit further, when we inhale, we're building up our body. We're getting what we need. When we exhale, we let go of the things that we don't need. Inhale, we energize. Exhale, we relax. So if you're worked up and stressed, the best thing that you can do for yourself is to exhale, to do more exhaling than inhaling. If we reduce our breathing rate by half and we focus on long exhales, can actually induce what's called the relaxation response in your body. Now, I know that this may sound overly simplified, or it may sound difficult to do. I know, myself included, a lot of people, when you start thinking about your breath, you start to panic. You start to feel like you're suffocating. You can't get enough air. I'm going to walk you through an exercise that you can do and hopefully will work for you. If not, my suggestion to you in the theme of music is to sing or to hum. Because what is singing except for a very long and controlled exhale? For breathing, we want to complete what is referred to as a 4-8 breath pattern. So you're going to inhale for 4 counts and exhale for 8. You can count as fast or as slow as you feel comfortable doing so. Maybe over time, counting to 4 will take longer. But to start with, do what feels right and comfortable for you. So, make yourself comfortable, ideally with a straight spine. We're going to breathe in through our nostrils. Fill up not only your lungs, but think about sending your breath into your belly. We'll inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we exhale for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can continue that pattern for as long as you want to. Ideally, 3 or 4 times. Once is just enough to get you started. And then over time, you can start to connect your breath to your body, to movements. For example, you can inhale your arms up over your head and exhale them down by your side. Or even on a smaller scale, you can inhale fingers together and exhale them apart. Inhale together, exhale apart. Next time you find yourself feeling overwhelmed, take a break to breathe. I hope you enjoy the rest of the concert and just keep breathing.
when the Meadville Neighborhood Center first got started, quite a few people, and we started 6 years ago, quite a few people asked, well, where is this center located? And my answer then was, and still is now, it's in our hearts. You see, we don't have a building, so it's a virtual center. Virtual? That's a familiar word today. Everything is virtual. Look at this concert is virtual. I guess MNC was ahead of its time. Now, I'm not implying, and we need to really realize, there's a lot of other constituencies in town that are doing great work. There's so many people. When I first got involved, I started attending different meetings of different nonprofits, and I was blown away. There were, of course, some overlap people, but on the whole, you'd be surprised how many. And they were all really offering their services for the community. And I want to thank them all today. Pertaining to this concert, I particularly also want to thank our 4 sponsors, the ACE Contractor, the Hilbarth and King's CPA Consultants, Marshbacher Painting, and the Stabile Arbor Tree Service. At the same time, I also want to thank personally Jason Sackle, the guy for the MeadvilleCalendar.com. He's actually in our living room right now, so I can thank him in person. Also, the radio station Cool, the 101.7, has been broadcasting this live. WQLN radio station has given us announcement slots for the past several weeks. And I also want to thank our MNC board. They've been tireless with this, and I really know that this is a collaborative effort. And of course, Becky, John, and Elise for their participation today. You know, the thing is, that answer that it is in our heart is really important. After all, it should be in the heart of the community. And we are hoping that the we will become a bigger we. And at the same time, embracing the philosophy and the mantra that we all need love and we all can love. So thank you so much for being part of this today. This will be, and it's being recorded. I understand there were some glitches during the performance, during the concert. It will be recorded and it is shown, can be available in its entirety for maybe at least a week on MeadvilleCalendar.com. So thank you so much, and I wish you best.